All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and in truth. And I'm just going to go into this article, going into the mark of the beast, more updates concerning the mark of the beast. It says, lawmakers proposes implanting microchips in people to track non-violent offenders like pets. And this is published today, which today's date is August 8th, 2018. So, these are more updates regarding the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is coming to a city and a town near you, and it's going to be mandatory implants. All right, they're starting to crack down locally. They're starting to find, really prep and desensitize the minds of the people, putting in all these different shows and television and movies. And it's going to come to a point where it's going to be mandatory microchipping. All right, for the elderly, as well as the young, as well as women. All right, the prisoners, criminals, anybody with a misdemeanor or felony, anybody, as it is written, free or bond, they're going to have to receive this mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So I'm going to continue with the article. Toledo, Ohio. This Tuesday, Toledo City Councilman Rob Ludman suggested that criminals be implanted with microchips so they can be tracked by police and the courts. Ludman also made comments essentially describing people charged with crimes as animals. The councilman said this can't be inhumane because we do it to our pets. Right, and the so-called white man looks at you like sheeple, cattle, as it is written in Romans, if I'm not mistaken, that we are sheep led to the slaughter. So the so-called white man is trying to lead you to the slaughterhouse. And one thing about, animals, they chip them. All right. It's written in the scriptures where, certain animals had certain awls and things of that nature in their ear to represent basically service and their property under a particular household, so to speak. So it's the same thing. The so-called white man is looking to implant criminals and as well as free, but it's going to start with criminals because they want to actually push out a certain energy that, is mandatory for criminals. They don't have self-control. They need to be tracked. Ain't no telling, he's an ex-felon. He skips his probation periods. He doesn't really allow his PO to really know certain things. So they want to actually plant these devices within you. The ankle monitors and all these different styles of tracking is going to be done away with. They're just going to implant you with the microchip. And this is living proof right here. And this is the city councilman, Rob Ludman. All right. It says Ludman suggested that implantable microchips should be used instead of ankle bracelets. See, that's the spirit. And I just said that, for people doing time on house arrest because ankle bracelets don't work on the cop shows that he watches. I've seen enough shows on TV where the individual has slipped it off and they'll commit a crime and slip it back on. I can't believe it's an inhumane thing, and I've got to believe the technology is there. We microchip our dogs, cats. There's got to be a way that you can put a microchip in and it can't be removed until their sentence is served or probation is over, Ludman said, according to the Toledo Blade. Luckily, other members of the city council did not immediately jump on board with the plan, but they weren't extremely repulsed or offended by it either. It's something I'd have to look into. We don't want to be Big Brother. What we want to do is make sure people are where they say they're going to be, Councilman Gary Johnson said. So, in this, a dialogue back and forth of them proposing to put in RFID microchips. If, brothers want, you could watch the video and read the rest of the article. But, hey, that's living proof. We in those times. It's getting closer and closer to the point where they're going to make this thing mandatory, not only in Ohio and in Chicago, all right, or Illinois, Atlanta, Georgia, or the whole Georgia on the whole United States on the whole, from West Coast, East Coast, North and South, is going to be a mandatory implant. And especially when martial law and all these different situations pop off, the pestilence outbreak, because it's going to be an epidemic, a pandemic. There's going to be a certain disease that's gonna be pushed in these different cities to actually make it where it's more mandatory than ever. All right, because it's not gonna be like there, the different councilmen are debating and they're dialoguing about it. It's gonna be basically interception of the federal government with martial laws in place, and it's gonna be mandatory microchipping. All right, but these councilmen are just speaking on things to get people revved up for what they have to actually take. So I'm gonna read this scripture and close it up. Of course, Revelations 13:16 says, "And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Right, and Esau is categorizing how he's gonna cause these different individuals. They were speaking about how children are getting lost, so we need to chip the children. Speaking about how old people, they live alone, and sometimes they'll, fall unconscious. Sometimes they'll be in dire need and they're not able to get to the telephone, so they need some type of implantable device that can actually regulate their body sensor, so to speak, and actually monitor their mental state. And if they're going through certain situations, then the microchip that's within them will actually send an alert to actually, basically contact the ambulance, contact the police, so on and so forth. All right. Now they're actually coming out with certain things pertaining to criminals. All right. Just as that article, and as well as the free. All right. So it says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right. And that mark, when you go into it, it goes back to the Greek word charagma, which is an implantable chip. And that implantable chip is the RFID chip, the radio frequency identification device that's going to be mandatory. All right. And it's going to be also used for exchanges and various other methods. It's not just going to only be buying and selling and exchanging, but that's going to be one major focal point that the microchip is going to actually have within it, is basically financial exchanges, so to speak. Verse 17, "And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And which is 666. The mark of the beast is the mark of the devil, which is the so-called white man, pushing it on the people in the United States and all throughout Europe, because it's not just going to be here in the U.S. The microchip is going to be a worldwide phenomenon, so to speak. But that's all I have for you. I can just want to go into that article, pushing the update. So I'm going to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shemi Hawashah, Shimmer Kakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Makia.